Today we're going to talk about a biomechanical evaluation of a patient, and more importantly about the method that you use or the forms that you use when you're seeing a patient for the first time. Often you'll have your go-to tests that you'll check with the patient. You'll watch them weight bearing, you'll look at the calcaneal angle or whatever it might be. Sometimes after the patient leaves, you say to yourself, gosh, I should have checked this other thing. One way to prevent that is to have your own biomechanical eval form. So here's an example of one that we developed at Hersco to ensure that we were looking at all the major components of a patient's biomechanics during an assessment. It takes a few minutes to go through the form completely, but it's often worth it, and you will sometimes find things that you would have missed otherwise if you weren't paying particular attention. You can develop any form that you want. This is available on our website, so feel free to download it and use it yourself. It looks at the major joints of the patient, the subtalar joint, the ankle joint, the knee joint, and so on and so forth, the ranges of motion that you would expect, so you can compare your evaluations from one patient to the other if you wanted to do that. It also looks at the patient both seated, non-weight bearing or open chain. It looks at the patient standing or in closed chain, and finally it looks at the patient in motion walking during gait. Each of those components are essential to a full biomechanical workup. And finally, there are some specific tests for posterior tibial tendon dysfunction that you would look at if you felt the patient was on the spectrum of adult-acquired flat foot in one of these stages. And of course, there are specific tests that you would use on pediatric patients as well, and they are listed here. So, regardless of whether you use this form or whatever your approach is, thank you very much for joining us.